welcome to day 9 of our January challenge 2019. We're working on this slightly fuller version of Pure Imagination. This is our 3rd day of doing this slightly fuller version, and I'm going to start straight in on our new bit of teaching today because it sounds very much like the beginning. I'm going to play through it for you. Notice how I've given you 8 bars worth. Don't be put off by that. The first 4 bars, 5, even 6 bars you've played before already, even in this piece. The only difference is that we're going to start to add some lever changes, and then it's just the last 2 bars as well that are different notes from what we've learnt in this piece, although you have done a lot of them before back on day 3. Okay, so I'm going straight into today's learning. It sounds like the beginning, but I'm not. I'm actually going from the end of the 8th full bar, or on the page it might be classed as bar 9, just the way the computers work. With the first bar that's got 2 beats in, they kind of count it as a bar, whereas musically we tend not to count that as a bar and just sort of an anacrusis up into the main piece. But here we go. After 2, I'm going to go from the C, E back up to the G and B. Here we go. 1, 2. Okay, I hope I'm showing that I'm just as human as the rest of us in my playing at the moment. Let's look back at that in more detail. I'll just get rid of these. Because I knew that I had lever changes today, I saw an F sharp and suddenly thought, oh, I need to put my hand up and change an F sharp, whereas that's the one we've got set from the beginning. So like I say, human just like all of us. So our right hand, let's do the first 4 bars first of all. Right hand is on the C, E, G and B like it was. It's exactly the same as what we learnt in day 1. Left hand also exactly the same. The F, C, A, C, the B, D, A, D, the octave E, and then F sharp, G. Okay, the only difference being that having played that F sharp, G, we then need to go up not very far and change a lever, and it's the B just by middle C. Okay, so you need to put that lever on. For me, it's putting the lever upwards to put it on. For you, it might be taking it downwards to put it on. So don't focus too much on the physical action here, other than that I am changing my lever to be onto the strings. Okay, so I'm going to play those first 4 days worth, including that lever change. Here we go. 1, 2. I'm trying to do it really as soon as I've played that G, so that I'm on it and I've got time to come back. Okay, carrying on, the right hand carries on much like it did, as does the left, with the C, E, and we've got the triad on to do the C, E, G. Left hand back down on the F, C, A. So this is all the same as you've done. And then here, I'm going to play this walking down. And then I want to land on D, B and A, except that it's B natural and A natural. Well, the B natural you've already done, but the A natural needs to happen in that bar just beforehand. So what I actually need to do in my left hand, I've just played B, D, A, D. I need to go up and I need to change my A lever. Now I don't know if you heard that. What I purposely did there was make sure I didn't do any damping. So I played B, D, A, D, and then I changed my A lever, but my A string is still vibrating. So the most efficient way to do that, and hopefully not hear happening, is to play your notes, and actually as you go up, to allow the heel of your hand to touch the string just before you do the lever change. That stops that vibrating. The bass ones are still vibrating, and the last note that you played, which was the D, that's still vibrating, that's fine. But I've dampened that A so that as I do the lever change, I'm not hearing the change in pitch. Okay, that's going to be something to practice. So I'm going to take that A back off. I'm going to start at the beginning of my 4th line. So at the beginning of my fourth line, I should have my F sharp still, which is set from the beginning and never changes. And I've got my B natural just below middle C. I've already done that because I did that at the end of line 3. So I'm going to practice my left hand, and I'm just going to do 2 bars worth at the moment. I'm going to play F, C, A, C, 3 and 4 and leave a change, 3 and 4 and hopefully actually by the time I've got to that and, I'm ready, and I can then get ready placed on the G, D. Okay, now you've done that G, D before back on day 3. We haven't done it yet in this version. You can either do it with a 4 and a 2, which is my kind of personal preference, particularly as we're going to be heading up to do levers again in the moment, or you can do it with 3 and 1, whatever feels most comfortable and whatever you can securely land on. So then if I just get rid of that A again, so I'm just taking my A lever off below middle C, I'm just going to go straight on the B, D, A, D bar, on that bar there. Maybe you want to play it with me. I'm going to include my lever change, so I'm going to hit with the palm of my hand to damp, and I'm going to get back for that G and the D. So I'm going straight in on the B, D, A, D bar, and the count in is going to be 3 and 4 and, if you want to join in. 3 and 4 and. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, and at this speed there's plenty of time, so try it at that speed and then speed it up a little bit. I'm going to take that A lever back off for a minute so that I can do exactly that motion again, and you can maybe join in. Okay, so I've got the B, D and the A. I'm doing that with 3 and 2 and 1 because that's my most comfortable shape for me, and I've got a nice high thumb. 3 and 4 and. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Just allowing the crotchets to be quite long really, particularly this count. Okay, so it's then adding the top hand into that. Let's take that lever off a moment, the A lever just below middle C, and let's have a go at it hands together. So the last bit is going to be in that same bar that you had the B, D, A, D, just above this lever change. You're going to play D and F, C and E, just like you did on day 8, and then it's carrying on down. The step movement with 1 and 2 is carrying on down, and you're adding finger 3, and you'd have the lever changed by then, and you'd play. We get that gorgeous warmth of that A natural, B natural in there, and then it's just a D and a high D, and you can either do those with 2s, or you could place the 4 to the 1, which I know that we did back in day 3 when we did the more straightforward version. Depends how your brain's coping with everything. Reaching for the 4 and the 1 might feel like more effort right now, but long term it is more secure than having to reach your 2 and your 2. It depends how comfortable you are with leaps and with landing on the right note. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that A. I'm going to play from the beginning of the line with the 2-note upbeats. Okay, so at the moment I've got my F sharp and I've got my B just below middle C, and I'm going to play my C, E, and then my triad, which is at the beginning of that line. Okay, so the count's going to be 1 and 2 and. I'm going to take it steady. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Here we're going to go with lever. So there's loads of time there, particularly at this speed. Okay, finally, having played that beautiful thumb, and I will make sure it is beautiful by bending it beautifully over, or your finger 2 if you've done it, but make sure it bends right in. I'm going to do an E natural at the middle of the instrument and a B flat, taking it off there. Okay, these aren't the easiest levers to quickly spot and get to necessarily, and I'm a great advocate. I don't know if you're aware of loom bands, which was a bit of a craze amongst youngsters about 4 or 5 years ago, and they made lots of really fancy bracelets out of these little plastic bands or elastic bands, and they're much smaller than your sort of standard elastic bands, and they're really handy to kind of wrap around your lever without it ending up a big bulky thing. So you could actually use some brightly coloured bands on some of your levers to help you identify them more quickly. That's a really useful idea, and I do that a lot with students, just to give them that security, and particularly in a piece like this where there's lots of levers changing. It's a really good idea. Okay, you're coping really well. It's not the most straightforward thing, so don't panic if you're going, what? I'm not quite sure. Don't worry about it. I would advise looking at the sheet music because the lever changes are marked in. So you can get those visual cues for them off the sheet music. And I would advise a lot of practice of even just the left hand but staying in time. For example, the B, D, A, D, going up for the A, coming back down for the G and D. Those kind of movements are really good to practice. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of any levers that I added on apart from my original F sharp in the bass, and then I'm going to invite you to join me in the play along videos. Well done.